It's been 10 years since the release of Aslan's debut album, Feel No Shame. From this long player came the single This Is, which became the song that ended every school disco in the country for about 5 years after its first airing. However, while this was going on, the band was not. They'd split in late 1988 and didn't play together again until 1993. But since then, it's been a different story.
We were kind of a band that grew up together as young, we didn't start in a rehearsal situation. We were young friends, we went to school together and we grew up. If you have a job or something to fall back on, a Rob's job is saying around the hunger, do you know what I mean? So we'd nothing, we knew if this doesn't happen,
And plus if you're working, like you're in work 9 to 5 and you're tired, you're not in the humour going into rehearsals and writing songs. And that's what being in a band is all about. It's all about writing songs and, trying to record and get that elusive record deal.
With us first time around, we were touring Ireland, right? We were getting $5 a gig, right? 20-day tour we were booking, so it was 100 grand we were grossing. Now at that time we were on £60 a week wages. Anything we got went back into the band and we used to take £60 a week wages. So we were doing this tour. Now the 20-day period, which was 3 weeks almost, right? I was earning £180 in those 3 weeks, and the manager was earning 20 grand because he got 20% of the. And this is a bloke. I'd worked 10 years getting the band to this point. Here was a bloke came over. It was only 3 months with us, I was the lead singer getting £180, and he's 6 months. He's getting 20 grand. You have to give away a lot to deal with success. It all depends on how much of yourself you're willing, how much of the game you're willing to play. All the things we're after just saying you shouldn't do, we did, that's how we know that we're wrong things.
The cue to give it the full Monty for the second time came with the success of their studio experiment in 1993, which produced the single Crazy World. After that, the reformation was assured. A deal with BMG quickly followed, as did their second album, Goodbye Charlie Moonhead. Dublin's most famous fingerless five-piece. We're back.
How can I protect you in this crazy world?
Another thing about being in a band and the whole thing is there's no pattern, there's no set way. You have to forge your own path.
What it boils down to, when you take all the bullshit away, right, it boils down to songs. That's it. If you're true to the songs, I honestly believe you'll be successful. People who say to us, you're Dave Fannington now, and they say, why aren't you successful? But we are successful. We're in a band for 15 years. We've released 3 albums. We're already waiting for the next one, And each time you release an album, you hope that this is going to be the one that's going to take us outside of Ireland.
Aslan is the line in C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. And if the band share anything with the hero of the book other than his name, it's their never give up, never say die attitude. Almost a decade after their first album, they released their third. Here comes Lucy Jones, and the road ahead is wide open again.
I'm so glad you understand me now. So glad that you found me. When everything I ever did was so wrong.
When you sign to a major record company, this has happened to an awful lot of Irish bands. The minute they're dropped by that record company, they tend to say, oh well, we're not good enough, and they disband. I mean, we've had 7 record companies, and each time we've been dropped, we just go out and look for another one, do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying to you about songs. If you have good songs, you'll always find...
You haven't a clue, you have to understand, the people that are making these decisions are on 30 grand a year, If they knew what a classic song was, they'd be out writing them themselves. I have to sing. If I didn't have the ability to get up on a stage and sing, I'd go mental. It'd absolutely kill me. The demons would destroy me. It exercises all the crap that goes on inside me.
This was at 86, and we were in an independent label called Weakest Records, right? And now it's 97, and we're in an independent label called Solid. And we're doing the same type of work now as we were doing in 86, hustling people, making sure the ads are in the papers, making sure the posters are up, running around, doing interviews. blagging them yourselves, you know what I mean? Don't rely on other people to get you these things. Go out and look for them yourself.
You just have to bait your own way through, you know. And you write the rules, don't let anybody tell you this is what it should be or this is what it should be.
As you know, it's an Aslan special here on Pop Scene today, and so we're joined by the man who's written the book, Aslan's Crazy World, Mr. Damien Corliss. Welcome to Pop Scene.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, why did you pick Aslan, as opposed to the Boomtown Rats or U2?
Well, would you believe they picked me in the first place? The band were approaching their 15th year together. Well, they haven't spent it all together, but their 15th year since their formation in 1983. They approached me sometime towards the end of last year to write the book. I wasn't quite sure at the start. And I went to see them, and I couldn't believe the amount of support that they still have.
Yeah, and look into the background, because they've had a very interesting background.
Well, I just sat down and talked to the lads, and I knew immediately that there's a great story there, you know.
Because we can't briefly go over the story of the last 15 years, but they've gone high, they've gone low. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's been a real roller coaster ride. They're one of these outfits that you could almost say that they were victims of U2's initial success there, because in the very year that Aslan got together, U2 went global, mega, with the War album. And every record company in the world wanted to sign an Irish band. Yeah. And Aslan were one of those bands that there was a real feeding frenzy, I think you could describe it as. Yes. And, well, they signed eventually. Their first album went to #1. They then got caught up in the fast lane, I think. They sacked their singer, Christy. Everybody went through a very bad time for a number of years. They came back together for a once-off gig.
This is what's unique about them. They've come back.
They've come back. They got together for a once-off gig in 1993. They ended up with extra rehearsal time when they got together for the gig. They wrote 3 new songs. One of them was called Crazy World. It went on to become the biggest selling Irish single of 1994. Huge. And then they had it snatched away from them again. They were told they got a new recording deal with a multinational, and they were told that, sorry, but we're dropping you because Crazy World, you don't have a hit single.
Good God. I got to take some phone lines. It's going to make a really interesting reading. Kim Bolan is in Letterkenny. Kim, what is your question for Damien?
Hi, I was just wondering, were there many bands around Ballymun and Finglas at that time, and do you know what happened to any of them?
Hi, Kim. Yes, there were a lot of bands. Well, U2 would be the most notable, perhaps, and Aslan, of course. Yeah,
but the thing about U2 as opposed to Aslan is so many of the bands come from Southside Dublin, man. You know, and these guys didn't.
Aslan didn't.
Yeah.
Aslan, no, they didn't. That's where they probably are unique, because of all the bands that were actually signed in that couple of years, they were the only working class band, without a doubt.
The Boomtown Rats all went to Blackrock College, you know.
Yes, there were an awful lot of university degrees floating around the dives of Dublin. Yeah,
and these guys didn't, so fair play to them. John Roach is in Ballybrack. John, what's your question for Damien?
Hi, Suzanne. How important is Aslan in your view compared to U2 or the Cranberries or Boyzone?
Hi, John. Well, it's very hard to be precise about that. Obviously, U2 and the Cranberries have sold more records. But I think where Aslan are important is that they're more typical of what really happens to 95% of the people who ever join a band. It's not easy. U2 made it look easy, and maybe a lot of people were fooled into thinking that it was easy. Even the Cranberries would tell you they had a terrible struggle.
Plus, it's a much more colourful story, I think. We'll keep moving on the phone lines. A lot of people want to talk to you, Damien. Avril O'Toole is in Newport in County Tipperary. What's your question very quickly, Avril?
Aslan have been around for 15 years now. How long more do you think they'll be able to keep going for?
That's tempting. Well, maybe I'll be writing part 2 of their autobiography or their biography in another 15 years' time. They go from strength to strength. They manage themselves now, so
they'll be around for a long time.
They'll be around for a long time.
Damien Corliss, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you, sir.